Most people say they want empowerment, but what they actually want is relief. Relief from responsibility, from discomfort, and from the idea that their choices have consequences. So when something goes wrong, we instinctively look for fault. We ask, who caused it? Who made the mistake? And who should have done better? Instead of pausing long enough to notice the chain of choices and patterns that led us there. Life doesn't judge those patterns. It responds to them. And when you start to relate to your experiences in that way, you're no longer looking for someone to blame. Instead, you're looking at what's actually going on. Let's get started. Fault is a very human idea. It belongs to social systems, families, workplaces, legal structures, where responsibility is often paired with punishment or shame. Fault implies wrongdoing, moral failure, or error. Cause and effect works very differently. It doesn't ask whether you meant well. It doesn't care how hard you tried or how unfair something feels. It simply responds to what's been set in motion. If you put your hand on a hot stove, you get burned. Not because you're careless or irresponsible, and not because the stove is trying to teach you a lesson, but because heat has a predictable effect on skin. No judgment, no emotion, just mechanics. A lot of what we experience in life operates on that same principle, but we personalize it. We turn feedback into self-criticism and response into blame, which makes it much harder to see what's actually happening. Responsibility tends to feel threatening because most of us were introduced to it through shame. Being responsible often meant being wrong, disappointing someone, or being told we should have known better. So as adults, we unconsciously resist it. We minimize our role, explain it away, or swing to the other extreme and punish ourselves for it. Neither of those responses creates change. Responsibility in its cleanest form simply means reorganizing where you are participating in your own experience. Without that recognition, there's nowhere to intervene. It's like wanting different results while refusing to look at the inputs. Life functions much more like a feedback system than a moral authority. If you consistently overextend yourself, exhaustion isn't a punishment, it's a signal. If you repeatedly ignore your own boundaries, relationship tension isn't bad luck, it's information. And if you avoid difficult conversations, life often finds other, less comfortable ways to bring the same issues back into view. Feedback doesn't mean you're failing. It simply means something isn't sustainable. And when feedback is ignored, it doesn't just disappear. It usually intensifies, not to be cruel, but to be noticed. This is where understanding cause and effect becomes useful. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? The more productive question becomes, what pattern is this responding to? Now here's the part that most people resist, but ultimately changes everything. If nothing in your life has anything to do with you, then you have no ability to affect change. In other words, you have no personal power. You're left managing symptoms, reacting to circumstances, and waiting for something external to change. But if your beliefs, choices, habits, and boundaries play a role, even a small one, then you're not stuck. It means there's something you can actually change. This isn't about control or self-blame. It's about seeing where your influence lies and understanding that what you're feeding can also be redirected. Every outcome has a seed, a belief that went unquestioned, a behavior that felt familiar enough to repeat, a boundary that wasn't set because it felt uncomfortable, a truth that wasn't spoken because it felt easier not to. You don't change outcomes by fighting the harvest. You change them by understanding what was planted and why it made sense at that time. When the seed changes, the result changes naturally. No force and no punishment, just a different pattern producing a different outcome. Taking responsibility doesn't mean replaying the past with regret or judging yourself for what you didn't know back then. You responded with the awareness you had at the time. Growth isn't about condemning earlier versions of yourself. It's about integrating the lesson and moving forward differently. Awareness isn't guilt. Awareness is an upgrade. Life doesn't ask you to suffer indefinitely for old mistakes. It's asking you to respond differently now that you can see more clearly. So when we say it's all your fault, what we're really pointing to is this: your life is responsive to you. It's not an accusation, it's an invitation. Because when you stop arguing with reality and start understanding how it works, you can finally move out of blame and into conscious participation. And that's where real empowerment begins. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, I really recommend you watching my other video, The Meditation on Twin Hearts, a powerful practice for healing and transformation. This practice helps raise your level of awareness and clears mental and emotional clutter, which makes it much easier to see patterns, cause and effect, and your own role in what's happening, without judgment or self-criticism. When your inner space is clearer, responsibility stops feeling heavy and starts feeling empowering. Until next time, take care, move with awareness, and always stay inspired.